President Biden is set to give remarks at Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, South Carolina this afternoon. The Biden campaign says he's expected to issue a warning that MAGA Republicans led by Trump are running on a hate-fueled, dangerous agenda. The church was the site of a racist mass shooting that left 9 people dead in 2015. Let's bring in senior White House correspondent Selena Wang, ABC News political director Rick Klein, and ABC's Alex Perche in Iowa for more. Selena, South Carolina Congressman and Biden campaign co-chair Jim Clyburn says the church has spoken to the conscience of the nation and shown us the path forward after moments of division and despair. How significant is this setting, and what do you expect to hear from the president today?
Well, Diane, the location is significant here. By choosing this church as the location of his speech, he's making an emotional appeal to the American people here. This was the site of that horrific mass shooting back in 2015, and the president is expected to make the case that the threats of political violence, of racism, extremism from 2015, well, they haven't gone away today. And sitting here in the church pews include survivors of that shooting as well as family members of those victims. The president, in being here in South Carolina, he is also making an appeal and a pitch to South Carolina and its black voters. They were critical to turning around his campaign bid back in 2020 to really rescuing his campaign, and he's under pressure to show that he still has the support of that core critical Democratic base. In the midst of this, recent polls show that President Biden's approval ratings among black voters has been lagging. So the campaign tells me they are showing black voters that they're putting in the effort to earn their vote early on, that they're not just going to parachute in the last minute, but the president has a lot to prove here today.
Rick, this follows Biden's remarks near Valley Forge over the weekend. He hammered former President Trump, saying Trump is willing to sacrifice our democracy to put himself in power. What do you make of that messaging?
Well, I think it's the other pillar of the Biden campaign. The speech at Mother Emanuel today, I think, gets to the soul of the nation argument that he made as a candidate originally 4 years ago. And I think the added part of the threats to democracy that he's talked about, I think, is the other piece of it that has sort of enlivened his candidacy and is probably the underlying theme of 2024. I think it was an important speech. It was a powerful speech, important also in the sense that so many Democrats have been looking to see how Joe Biden takes this fight to Donald Trump, hoping that people remember the horrors of January 6th. Clearly won't be enough. That's not top of mind for people. And it was about as clear and as direct as he has been so far. And I think we'll see a lot more of that as this campaign year continues.
Alex, next week, President Biden will be one step closer to finding out who he'll be running against in the general election after the Iowa caucuses. Former President Trump has a commanding lead so far. So what are you hearing from voters there?
Well, Diane, so he's got a 30-point lead right now, and many of the folks that we're talking to don't see that particularly changing for the caucuses. But I do think, I mean, there is a big focus on who finishes second and third, right? We know that Governor DeSantis has spent a lot of political capital here in Iowa laying the groundwork. He was campaigning here even before he actually officially announced his candidacy. And so, you know, for him to have a poor showing in Iowa could be detrimental to his campaign. But I will tell you that despite all the visits from many of these candidates, you know, Trump has had far fewer visits here. He has an event that's already canceled for surrogates later on this week. People are still really resonating with that 2016 America First message. Anecdotally, we've talked to a number of folks here today that have said that, you know, that is something that they want to sign up for round 2 on.
Rick, what are you watching for as the Republican candidates make their final push in Iowa?
It's been really striking to me, Diane, to see so many voters begin to question the strategy of the candidates in the closing days of this campaign. And it's not atypical to have voters in Iowa and New Hampshire kind of ask questions as good as reporters or as good as pundits might. But it is unusual for them to be saying the same thing to both DeSantis and Haley. Why aren't you taking the fight to Donald Trump? And they're going to have town halls over the next couple days and then a debate, just the two of them on Wednesday night. How much they kind of sharpen that message in the closing days could be critical because, as we know, no one has actually voted yet in the state of Iowa.
All right, Selena Wang, Alex Perche, Rick Klein, thank you. And we will bring President Biden's remark to you live when they happen. We'll have full coverage of the Iowa caucuses all day next Monday, January 15th, right here on ABC News Live.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.